Today we're going to be reviewing the Glashutte SeaQ Chrono. Apart from its -20, we're in the Arctic Circle and they've sent us to Finland.
When it comes to luxury, nothing quite beats that sentimental attachment. Whatever the watch might be, whatever the model is, it's about the memories that you create with that piece. So on this mission, I wanted to create an unbeatable memory. I wanted to be the first presenter ever to film a Glashutte Original under the Northern Lights.
Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always. And Glashutte Original is a sentimental brand to me. They are one of the first brands ever to believe in this channel. They are one of the first brands ever to send us out a sample piece to film the very first watch vlog that we ever filmed. So when they gave me the opportunity to come to Finland to get one of my dream shots and to review their Glashutte Original SeaQ Chrono, I couldn't turn it down. So let's dive into the specs of this watch before we go over the sentimental value that I have towards this piece and my thoughts and feelings in general, because I have been wearing it for around about a week now. So it is a chunky monkey, it is a big boy. It comes in at 43.2 mil in diameter and about 16.95 mil in thickness. However, it is a chronograph model, and because it's a chronograph model, you can see it being a little bit more chunky, a little bit bigger, and that goes throughout the industry. Now, where this watch really shines through, and we'll touch on it a little bit later, is in the movement. Glashutte movements are some of the best in the world. I've personally visited their factory. I've seen the handcrafted nature of their movements. I've also seen the fact that about 95% of their movements are made in-house, and that's very, very rare in the watch industry. Now, it is -20, so we're going to cover more of the specs, but let's do it somewhere a little bit warmer. Let's go into the car. You know, it's funny, wherever you are in Finland, literally wherever you go, it all looks pretty much the same. That's not a bad thing though, because it's pretty damn stunning, as well as the car we got as a rental. This is actually one of the new GLC models. It's absolutely sick, but this is a watch video, not a car video. So before we go any further, we need to talk about the strap options you can get for your watch, because depending on the strap you go for, it totally changes the look and aesthetic of your watch, the general profile of your watch, and I can't understate that enough. It's something that goes kind of under the radar for a lot of people, but they need to start changing up that strap. So you essentially get 4 options. You get a bracelet, 2 nylon, which are synthetic basically, and that's kind of like a grey or a blue, and then you also get a black rubber. Bracelet, I would say, is the classiest. It's definitely for business people, maybe not as outdoorsy. However, it looks stunning and the build quality is great because Glashutte's bracelets are amazing. They always have been. The 2 nylon straps are pretty damn good. The grey is my favorite aesthetic in terms of color, and the rubber is pretty good as well. However, in the circumstances that we are in at the moment, -20, the rubber is actually hardening up, and I feel like it could genuinely snap. This is the thing, look, the rubber strap is almost, it's solid. Do you see that, guys? That is absolutely solid. That is what, I can't do it. I can't unclip it, it's frozen solid. Now, this isn't a sort of testament to Glashutte's quality. It's basically just saying, if you're in -20, maybe wear the nylon. However, when are you ever gonna be in -20? Ooh. So we've driven up to a beautiful forest, absolutely frozen solid, but it does look stunning. There's something about the light in the snow that it makes watches look even better. So on the head of this watch, on the case of this watch, they've used a combination of brushed and polished steel. Something really interesting though is they've actually used polish on the inside just next to the strap here. Now, pros and cons. Pros are, it looks pretty damn awesome, and not many brands do this. Cons, it does get really dirty. Now, the rest of the polished lines kind of highlight the lines of the case, and also the pushers at the right-hand side, being a chrono model, are in polished. The crown's brilliant, and actually it's really, really grippy, especially when you have big gloves like this. It's not hard to turn. But let's keep going. Getting more into the head of this watch, it has a fully rotating bezel in this beautiful deep blue color. Now, the bezel is actually more of a deep blue color than the face of this watch, giving it a really, really slight contrast. You can only see this when you look really hard at the watch. Now, this bezel is uni-rotating, so it only rotates one way, and again, it has really nice teeth, which are polished, again, giving it that kind of nice aesthetic. Really easy to turn in gloves. Diving further into the face, it has this beautiful sunray pattern running through it, a big bold date window at 6 o'clock, and the subdials on the left and the right at the 3 and the kind of 9 mark are slightly darker blue. Now, this is quite hard to see, but in this light you can see just a slight difference to this dial. Now there's only one variation of the SeaQ Chrono out at the moment, and it is this blue dial. You do get strap variations, as we discussed before, but I can see this going a lot further. I can see them releasing a panda dial, I can see them releasing a green, and I can see them changing the sub-dial colours, and that's what I want them to do. I want them to have more fun with this watch. This is a cool watch, but it could be that little bit cooler. But I do need to talk about something interesting. Now the interesting thing about this model that actually it started as a con for me and then it quickly turned into a pro is the thickness. What Glashutte have done is they wanted to keep all the functionality of a diving watch in a chrono model. When you look at normal chrono models in the industry, they normally go to 100 meters of water resistance if it's a good brand and a good make. This one goes to 300 meters of water resistance, which is damn rare for a chrono. Now, when you combine this with the fact that it actually has domed sapphire crystal glass on the front here, that is partially what's pushing that thickness a little bit up. So to get a chrono model with flyback functionality in a watch like this, at this thickness, is actually quite damn good. The numerals on this watch and the hour markers are big and bold, just like we see from other Glashutte watches in the range. Now the SeaQ in 39.5 is one that I would look at. I'm going off topic, but it's just really cool. Take a look at it. Now, when we go into the actual Superluminova on this watch, we can see that it's bright and bold partly because of those big, bold numerals and hour markers. Now, this actually looked particularly good in the snow in Lapland while we were out shooting astro shots. The bold nature on this watch can actually also be seen on the double G logo. If you look at the bottom of the second hand, which is really highly polished silver, it looks great, as well as the hour markers and obviously minute markers, it has that double G logo. Now, what that actually means, for anyone that doesn't know, is there's a G pointing into the future and a G pointing into the past. Glashutte are taking the best bits, they're selectively picking the best bits from their past and instilling it in the watches in their future. And I think that's such a nerdy detail, but I love that detail. I mean, when you look at the date window being big and bold, that's kind of how they used to do it. So they picked that bit and put it in a futuristic design. It's great. Let's walk a little bit further up the road and let's flip this watch round, open the strap and see that beautiful movement. That 95% made in-house movement, because that is an incredible feat that not many brands can talk about.
The movement in this model is the Caliber 37-23, and this is created in-house by Glashutte Original, and I mean genuinely in-house. There's definitely shades of grey in the industry when it comes to in-house movements and what's genuinely built in-house, but this is actually in-house in their own factory, which is pretty damn cool. It's fully automatic, has 70 hours of power, and beats at a frequency of 28,800 VPH. It also has a skeletonized rotor with the double G symbol and a 21 karat gold oscillating weight, which definitely adds a little bit to the weight of this watch. But instead of me just talking about it, just look at it. Look at that beauty, the beating heart of this watch.
So everybody, we've covered the face, the case, a bit of the history and some intricacies of the movement. But now it's time for the fun bit. It's time to take this watch and get that bucket shot, create that memory and attach it to this sentimental timepiece.
You know, there's so many opinions on YouTube. There's so much negativity surrounding watches. But whenever anyone is negative in any kind of way about a watch that I own or I review, I say simply, it's not about the watch. It's about where that watch can take you. Oh my God!
The thing about watches is that it's about the memories that you attach to the timepiece, and this right here is a pretty incredible memory.